Welcome back to Pop Taps, keeping tabs on all your pop culture news. I'm your host, Matthew Yapp. Joining me today is...
Sarah James.
And...
Michael Robb.
Look, I have my two best friends here.
Wow.
Aren't they cute? Sarah, what do you do?
I watch 21 Pilots music videos all the time.
That's so fair. Michael, what do you do?
Halo.
Too long.
One word, too long. Okay. Note for the future.
There you go. He'll never be back. So our first topic is digital resurrection, because speaking of things that are coming back, your dead relatives maybe.
Oh, goodness.
So we've seen this concept in movies where dead actors are redone through CGI so they can finish a role or maybe get entirely put into the role. But now some companies are wanting to take text messages, social media posts, and emails from your dead relatives and use that so you can speak to them again via text. And boy, that's a choice. The main company we're going to focus on is the Terrorism Movement Foundation, and they are very close to what they think is an algorithm to get this done. What are your guys' thoughts on this?
I am confused, I guess, of like why for using technology to like create an actor for a role, like what they did for Rogue One. Like there was a character that was important to the story, but the actor had passed away, but they needed that character, so they had a digital recreation. There are rumors that they're going to do that for Leia in
Don't do that.
episode 9 because Carrie Fisher has since passed away. So it's like, that's one story, but like actually taking real people and then like reintroducing them into your lives, I don't think it gives you time to grieve.
Yeah.
As someone who has recently had a family member pass away within the past year, I am fine with letting my memories of her exist and be there and look back fondly, but I don't need to communicate with my great-grandmother anymore because she's gone. And if all of a sudden I'm talking to her all the time, then I never get that sense of closure, I guess, on her life, and that I don't think is healthy whatsoever.
That's pretty fair.
Yeah, and going off of that, not only do you not get closure, but the interactions will never be the same.
Yeah.
I don't care how good the algorithm is, like it's not going to be that person speaking to you. So is it like, and that can be even more damaging. And not only are you like, even if it was perfect, like it's not going to be, and it prolongs that like grief, but it also like, if it's not the real person, then is it really worth putting yourself in that position?
Yeah. See, I think that life is a very fragile thing, but I think that's what makes it important. And to me, once I'm dead, probably keep me gone. Like delete all the pop tabs, like cut all my articles. I want to be like missing.
No legacy.
No legacy.
There's nothing left behind.
But so I think by creating this, kind of like you said also, you're never going to get the real me. And so the only thing you're going to have left is this kind of inauthentic idea of what I was. Because like, collect all my tweets and my texts, and I text weird.
And also, like, thinking about collecting things from social media, everyone is a different person on social media.
Absolutely.
You have a social media persona.
I hope that they like can just collect all my tweets and like turn me into a Bond villain. Like,
there you go.
If I tweet like a Bond villain, will people be able to text me like a Bond villain?
Like I'm I have 2 Instagram accounts. One is a personal account and one is for my makeup stuff. And if they like just pull from ads, I'm gonna be a monster. I'm gonna be some sort of crazy demonic creature because that's what's on I do special effects makeup. So
well, on the looks aspect, we might not stop at texting because some of them, specifically Bruce Duncan, who's the managing editor, he was like, why stop with text? Why not VR?
No.
So we'll take your pictures, we'll take video of you, we'll take everything we have, and we will create this beautiful VR world so you can sit there, you can have lunch with your dead relative. You can like just sit there and watch a movie with your dead relative. Oh boy.
I'm gonna say a hard pass, and I'm gonna give an example from my real life, and it's gonna be sad. I'm sorry. I don't want to be sad.
We support depression on Pop Tabs.
You know, it happens. So, I think one of the reasons why that could be appealing to someone is like if you have a certain regrets of like, oh, I never got to tell this person something, or, you know, my last interaction with that person wasn't what I wanted it to be, or something like that. I have those regrets with my grandmother because she passed away last summer. And I was busy working the entire summer. I didn't really get to spend time with her. I didn't go to her 102nd birthday party. And the entire family was there, but I was working. And that, that made me feel bad when all of a sudden she got sick. I never got to introduce her to Michael, which was also upsetting that she never got to see him. And so there's a part of me that's like, if all of a sudden that was possible, would I want to like have this interaction with my great-grandmother to like say how much she meant to me and like introduce you guys? I don't know, but at the same time I'm like, but that's not really her. I will still walk away from that knowing that I didn't actually do that, and I feel like it would just make me worse about the situation.
Yeah, that's fair.
I don't.
When it comes to VR and everything else, I don't know, it can be, I can see how it would be very tempting for some people to try and get those last words in, or to be able to have conversations with that person as you grow as a person, and like try to learn about what they thought about certain things or whatever, or just spending time with that person that you no longer get to see because they're gone. And that can be very tempting to want that, but I don't think that VR, again, going back to like the text thing, I don't think it's ever going to get to a point where it's not ever going to be that person.
Mm-hmm.
Like, say what you will about like the human soul or whatever else, but there's just not something. There's something that's always going to be missing that can't be replaced by technology. At least not in the realm of like our lifetimes. Maybe never. Maybe never.
Yeah. See, personally, I believe that like I think it could be useful. Because I do know, particularly some people who, when I had a class member die with my graduating class, and I remember there was just this one person who was like, I need to say something to her, I need to talk to her, I just need something. And so when you don't have anything at all, and there's nothing, when someone's dead, you can't get back to them. Even if it's this illusion, even if it's this concept, you just need something to help you move on. And sure, it's not going to be them, but it's going to be something. And you're going to, at the very least, they're still dead, but you can walk away with a certain amount of closure. Because like you said, like maybe it's going to stop people from getting closure, but maybe that's all somebody needed to get to that point. Maybe they just needed to see them one more time, or send one more text, or just anything to make them feel like they can move forward.
Yeah. I'll agree with that in like the early stages of grief, when you're very much like trying to separate yourself from that reality. Having a moment that like consciously isn't real, but still being able to like have that kind of moment may be helpful to some people. But like I don't, years down the road, like I never met I did, but my grandfather passed away when I was 5. I don't remember him. I would not, I don't need to have a conversation with him, even though I never really had a conversation with him, because that's so far in the past that I just wouldn't feel comfortable with that,
Well, and kind of the concept of a legacy, wouldn't you, in a way, do you think some people would enjoy it? Say like, I didn't really know my grandfather either because he died when I was like 6. Do you think some people would like to be able to like,
to have
that, to be able to like introduce to an extent your child to your father, like?
Absolutely. No, I think going off of that even more, take it to the next step, maybe interacting beyond just family members, maybe historical figures. Like, so say you take the writings of Alexander Hamilton.
It's Matt's dream has become
Matt's
reality.
dream come true. Based on all that he wrote, because you talk all the time about how he could never shut up. And he wrote everything. With all of that raw kind of data, do you think, like, if that was possible, would you like to speak to, like, that's an easy question, but like, do you think it's ethical to bring that person back and talk to them in that way? Yeah, okay. Well,
I mean, that opens up a whole nother like wormhole of like, what if people who put their personalities who have a legacy, like who already have that has lived beyond their death. Like,
because now someone who's not them is speaking for them. Do you think you could get into like? Do you think you could get into a fight with Alexander Hamilton via text?
He's like, I never wanted.
Text.
I never. If you can't bring me back. That's not allowed.
Like you're just like going back and forth, and you're like, I don't know, man.
They become self-aware.
Yeah.
Oh God, that's
a whole new.
But no, I want to text Alexander Hamilton and be like, Burr was right, and just see what he responds. Like, you totally would have shot him. Like, he deserved.
You loved your wife. Why?
Eliza. Anyway. No, I do think that could, especially we already face now with people's likeness. We have an issue with, like, you can't use celebrity likeness. So if you want to use this, are we allowed to use people's likeness for text? Are you allowed to meet these people? Are you going to have to pay to meet these people? I think it could run into some like weird territory because you're not really meeting them. You're just texting someone who's like them.
Yeah.
You're texting a computer that has learned to talk like them.
Like that person.
That's
So
all it
At what
is.
point, where's the line?
So where do you guys draw the line?
That's a good question.
Thanks, it was yours.
Okay, well, where do I draw the line when it comes to that? I don't know how ethical or great it is in the first place because you don't have their consent at that point.
Right.
And I know the question is about like when does it become like a person versus a computer program? I don't know. It'll never be exactly that person, so I don't know if it would ever get anywhere like legally. So I don't know. Ethically though, I wouldn't want to have to like essentially pull that person. Like it's not like pulling that person, but like take that person and try and fit them into something that isn't going to ever really be them. So for me, I don't know, the line is pretty, it's pretty close to like, I just don't want to deal with it at all. Like things should stay put as they are.
That's fair.
I think like technology is great and everything. I love it, but there are so many things like as technology advances that just get in the way of the human condition.
Yeah.
And I feel like this is one of those things that like grief is a very human emotion. It's something that
But what if we never dealt with it again?
But you have to. That's like a thing that as a human you need to learn, you need to experience. And it's how life works. And so all of a sudden trying to like remove that's like, one, I don't think it can be good for anyone's mental health, and I feel like it's removing aspects of humanity from someone, because it's like there are other, like if you're trying to, like biologically, one of the things that separates us from other animals is that we grieve and that like we feel sadness when we lose something, and not other animals don't care.
I don't know, you ever seen that video of the sad dog who's like staying with his dead dog friend? There
are some animals that do, but there
me.
are others that like really don't care.
Yeah.
And so if all of a sudden it's like, well, what if humans didn't have to care? I'm like, well, then are we really human? Are we human? Or
are we dancer? In terms of like celebrity, I think no on the celebrity, because I think as much as I'd like to ask Alexander Hamilton if he likes Sprite or not, like
Specifically Sprite?
Specifically Sprite.
Okay.
I think that like that really is running into something where this person could never get it. I think in terms of actual people, I really do think it helps some people's mental health, because we see like widows get debilitated by the loss of their spouse, where they can't take care of themselves, they lose their children because they cannot take care of someone. And so if what you need for a few years is to text your dead husband because you can't move on, like you can't get out of bed without talking to him, then I think that could be a start in the grieving process. I don't know if we should get it forever, but maybe even like just as like a therapy thing, just something to keep you moving forward, I think could be useful. But what are you guys' final thoughts on that?
Final thoughts? I think as we were like talking through all of that, something came into my head, like the show Altered Carbon? I know you two didn't watch it, but I did. It was really like explored that kind of area where it's like a person could live on as long as their stack, as it was called, like an implant in their neck wasn't destroyed. They could be put into a new body, and then you could just continue living. And that kind of, it's a weird like overlap there with that. And I think a lot of they explored a lot of issues in the show, and I won't go into it now. But it's like I just think it's really dangerous territory, because at a certain point, loss is a big part of what makes someone human, and that eventually, it could be exploited in certain ways. It's like,
no, there's
a slippery slope a little bit.
There's specifically an episode of Black Mirror just like this, because we really love to like play with Black Mirror, despite the fact that it's all horror. Anyways, it's called Wish She Were Here, I think. Either way, you guys get the idea. But no, it starts out this widow, she finds a program where she can text her dead husband, and then that's not enough, and so they buy it to where they can basically make like this weird android thing that's her husband, and she can't love it the same way, and so it's not helping her grief process. Because she's like, it's this weird inauthentic thing that like won't fight with me, and it's not a full person. And so I kind of agree with you that you're never going to get the same realistic version, where I think it's a very dangerous territory. But so is nuclear warheads, and we have those. Sarah.
I would never utilize this technology if it became available to me, because I don't think it's healthy.
It's not healthy.
There's that.
It's not healthy.
That's all I've got.
Shout out to the people who can do it though. That's some real smart stuff.
Yeah.
It's
As
an
far as
achievement.
technology,
Yeah.
like, good on you, but like.
Good on you. But you know who else has something good on them? Kendrick Lamar.
Ayo.
Ayo. Because Kendrick Lamar got a Pulitzer.
Yes, he did.
A Pulitzer. So recently his album Damn did receive the Pulitzer in music, and this is the first time that someone got a Pulitzer for music that was not a classical piece or a jazz piece. So it's actually a huge deal, especially seeing as though this is like a rap hip hop album. It's really, really exciting. So right off the bat, what are your guys' thoughts on that?
I think it's an incredible testament to Kendrick as an artist, because so many people just look at him as like, oh, he's just a rapper. But no, he really has a lot of artistic value in his music. Beyond just artistic value, also just like in society, the way that his music reflects what's happening in society, I think is, especially now, really important and really prevalent. And Kendrick has said multiple times that he thinks that like hip hop is the future, like hip hop and rap is the future of music, and I feel like this just further validates that. That it's everything that has gotten a Pulitzer in music up to this point has been something that is considered very classic or very like based a lot in musical theory and has a lot more like artistic merit to it, but for all of a sudden it's like, oh wait, here's rap as a Pulitzer-winning album. Like, that's insane.
It really, really
It's absolutely insane. Just further validates that community, that genre of music, Kendrick as an artist. He can rule the world now.
Kendrick is the best. Like, no one can even
Like, no
deny
one
it.
can stop him.
What do you think?
When it comes to like the fact that he came in and won a Pulitzer, and that's unprecedented in and of itself, but the fact that the Grammys did not nominate him as like the premier music
They
award.
nominated him, he didn't get it.
Did I say nominate?
Yeah.
Apologies. They nominated him, but he didn't get it. Instead it went to 24 Karat Magic, right?
Yeah, Bruno Mars.
Bruno Mars.
Which is not even that good of an album. This isn't remixed, so I won't get into that, but it's not that good of an album.
It's okay.
But to take
it has
that
like 2 good songs.
and just turn it around and win a Pulitzer Prize, no one saw that coming. Because it's completely unprecedented in anything that's ever been done before with that kind of award.
We haven't even nominated things that aren't like classical and jazz, and to go to the point where we're just like, now, like, yeah, he wins, because the way they described it, a lot of people initially came out and they were just like, they want something popular, but the board stated that it's not about something popular. We don't pick things based on popularity. We pick something based on what is the best music, and this is undeniably the best music right now. And so I think it's extremely impressive. However, a lot of people still don't believe that. Where do you stand on the whole, the Pulitzers just wanted something popular, something to get the name out there? argument?
I don't know if that's necessarily valid, because yeah, Damn was a popular album, but when you look at like popular music, there were other things that soared way above what that album did. That's what the Grammys did. The Grammys chose
are the popularity
Yeah,
contest.
Grammys chose Bruno Mars because Bruno Mars was the one that was dominating the radio that entire time. That's like, you know, they didn't choose Lemonade the year before because Adele was dominating the radio. Even
Which
though
Lemonade had something to say.
Yeah,
That is a
Lemonade was
gorgeous
the better
album.
music. And so I think some people say it's like, oh yeah, it's just because Damn is popular, but it's like if they wanted to do that, they could have gone with like any bubblegum pop song that's out right now. Like they could have.
Can you
they would have
imagine if
awarded
Taylor
it to
Swift got the
Despacito.
popular?
Like, let's be honest.
If Taylor Swift got the Pulitzer, I think people would have died. That would have been
Me?
wild.
Are you at me next time? Yeah.
No, going off of that, just the very fact that it came about to be a Pulitzer Prize, a Pulitzer Prize winning thing. I mean, like, Grammys have always been like a thing where, you know, like something that tops the radio charts or whatever else. It's a popularity contest where I think Pulitzers are very much more like they're looking at music theory, like the fact that it's been classical stuff and jazz stuff that is won like since its creation in what, the 1940s?
Right.
It's been around for a long time. They're not new to this, and they've never gone the popular route before when it came to like top hitting tracks or whatever. So why would this time be any different? So
No, for me, I personally think like the Pulitzers don't care about popularity, not just
They
in music,
really
but for
don't.
themselves. Because
Yeah.
like the Grammys and things like that, the reason they pick these huge names and stuff is because they want people to come watch. The Pulitzers aren't doing some fancy award show. They are doing things strictly based on an academic level.
That's true.
Like
Yeah.
they don't care if like some 12-year-old out there is like, oh my God, a Pulitzer. Like they don't mind. And so to me, I don't see why if this was what they were going for, why they would need to pick something.
There's no
more popular.
point.
Yeah,
Yeah.
there's no gain for the Pulitzers. It's not like they're trying to validate themselves.
Yeah.
They don't need to.
The Pulitzer is just for the person receiving it, not for like anyone else around them, I guess.
Yeah.
Like it's just saying like, you do good work.
And you do, Kendrick.
And you deserve to be
I know you've been
recognized.
waiting for some skinny white boy to tell you that your hip hop album's good, and here I am. But, no. Do you think? Because some people are now taking shots at Bruno Mars. Do you think the win for the Pulitzer for this kind of invalidates Bruno Mars' win for Album of the Year?
I just think the Pulitzer and Grammys are two very different awards.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know. Damn, because it's very much in the same vein as Lemonade the year before, that it was like there was some political motivation in there, and it had
was.
things to say about being a black artist in America. Like both
Yeah.
of those albums dealt with that topic, whereas like Bruno Mars is like, this music is sexy.
We're trying to have a good time.
It's literally just sex. The whole album is sex, but it sounds fun. So
Finesse is a bop. I'll give it to him.
yeah, Finesse is fun, but like the '90s remix though, that's the bop, for real. Anyway,
Cardi B.
Cardi B, man, she's a person. But like,
Again,
it's
not
just-
remixed, but Invasion of Privacy was surprisingly good. Go check it out. Anyway.
But it's a completely separate awards system, I think, of like, of course the Grammys they're going to go the safe route. They're
Yeah.
going to give the awards to like the most popular or
What's been on Billboard 100 for the longest.
that's what the Grammys are going to do. That's what they've been doing. That's what they're always going to continue to do. Whereas
Yeah.
like the Pulitzer is something where it's like, I don't want to say more official, but like more official.
Yeah.
it's more serious, I guess, of an award,
Yeah.
and so that doesn't necessarily invalidate Bruno Mars as an artist because he creates good popular music.
He creates popular music.
Yeah.
I won't say good.
I like some of his songs. He's really good at making a song catchy.
There you go.
That's
That's a
Bruno
skill.
Mars is really good at coming up with catchy tunes.
Yeah, because he releases the same one every time. It's fine. I'm not pressed.
Whereas like Kendrick has an artistry to him.
Yeah.
That
And he's
just
saying
is-
something.
and he's saying something in that
He has
album.
a
Yeah.
message. No, personally, I think it does kind of invalidate Bruno Mars a little bit because when the whole point of getting the Grammy is so everyone at that time is going to be like, you are the best this year. This is your year. But I think by Kendrick coming in and getting an unprecedented award that has a lot more esteem, I don't think anyone's going to look at Bruno Mars like he's the best, like at all.
I don't think a lot of people looked at Bruno Mars afterwards and was like, he's the
No.
best.
That's fair.
I think a lot of people afterwards were not expecting him to win.
I really don't think it does invalidate Bruno Mars too much. I mean, like, because he is at the top of the charts and like, you know, he's created some very popular music. And I think the Grammys very much are, like I said before, like they are the popularity contest of music awards. Whereas the Pulitzer is on this whole nother level of like artists who make it there are, you know, other than being like classical and jazz, they've always had a certain level of artistry to them, where like, you know, it's based in music theory, but it's also, I think a big reason Damn made it all the way to Pulitzer is because it's saying something beyond like sex and fun and whatever else, like, you know, the typical like pop track does. Like he's saying things that matter, and that's something that I think resonates with a lot more than that.
Well, I think right there you kind of like, and at least in my mind, contradicted yourself because we said that he's saying things that matter, and I think inherently that means Bruno Mars is saying things that don't.
Okay, so that does undercut it a little bit. then.
Yeah. I just think it just really shows that to whatever extent Kendrick's winning, Kendrick did something more important, Kendrick did better. And so I think
I'm not disagreeing with
undercuts.
you, but it's
Yeah,
just like,
but-
I don't think that necessarily is what the Grammy represents all the time.
Yeah.
That's fair.
So like, I think when Bruno won, a lot of people were like, but Kendrick's music is better. And I don't know if Bruno necessarily disagreed with that, but his stuff was more popular at the time. That's why I got the Grammy. So it's like, the Grammy doesn't always mean what's best. It's supposed to, but we all know that it just means what's popular. And so
when Lemonade didn't win anything, we all knew.
I mean, come on. Beyonce broke the world with Lemonade. I can't, I'm still
With a
not over
2-hour movie
I'm
to
still
drop an
not over
album. She wild.
it. Still not over it.
But no, I really do think that, at least to an extent, I think you're right that the Grammys don't hold.
Yeah, it's just.
They don't hold music to as much of a value as they hold popularity. Which, I mean, hey, it's an award show. They're all kind of meaningless anyways.
Yeah. 21 Pilots won that once, and that's all that matters to me. And they took off their pants to accept it, and that's the most important thing that's ever happened in my life.
That's a fun life you live, Sarah J.
That's all that matters to me.
But do you think that this will lead to more, we'll say, non-traditional music winning?
Absolutely.
You do?
Yeah, I definitely think that this has opened the doorway for other artists who are trying to like break the norm and say something with their music instead of just looking for, you know, YouTube views or record sales or something like that. Like, I really do think that other artists who are trying to go in the same vein as Kendrick will now, it will, if not, you know, be Pulitzer winning artists, like they at least know, hey, my stuff is,
it's validated.
I'm trying to do the same thing. I could do that one day.
That's fair.
To be the pessimist, I guess. I hope that happens where like more and more people will say things that matter in song, because I think that's the best kind of like stuff that comes out is stuff that means something. That's the music I like to listen to, not just something catchy. But at the end of the day, like stuff that is catchy, like psychologically catches on, and that makes money. And for a lot of people in the music industry, unfortunately, like
we're trying to pay them bills.
Yes.
Money is end all be all. So I would love for more like stuff like this to continue, and I think it will. I think this will create an upsurge in that, but I don't think it's going to like completely like sweep away things. Not that you're saying that, but like I don't think it's going to create a huge shift where like suddenly the Grammys are now going to be handing out like stuff to like.
No, personally, I really don't see much of a change coming because, like you said, at the end of the day, it's money, and some people don't even really listen to lyrics. They're just there for that, the beat. And so I also don't think that, I doubt we're going to be seeing too many Pulitzer Prize winners in music being from hip hop in the future. I think the reason Kendrick got it and the reason it was unprecedented is because Kendrick did it at a level no one else could do. And I don't see a lot of people reaching that level. Kendrick is above and beyond what a normal artist can do, and that's why he won. And so I don't see a lot of people being able to do that again. So I really do think people will stick to the Grammy sound, which is unfortunate. But you know what else is unfortunate? That the bully hunters got bullied off the internet in some fun, weird, ironic twist. So the bully hunters are a group that are dedicated to ending harassment online. The way they planned on doing this is specifically in the game Counter-Strike. If you were being harassed in game, you could come get them, basically like fill out a little form thing, and they will come in game with you and kill the harasser, which sounds so violent, but it's a video game.
It's a video game.
It's what happens.
It's Counter-Strike.
Yeah, Counter-Strike. So they would attack the harassers, and right off the bat, it got a lot of controversy because some people are like, you're fighting fire with fire, you're going and harassing people who are harassing people. Where's the win? So thoughts on that?
Fundamentally, I just don't see how this works, because you're going into, so it's like, all right, so someone harasses you through like text chat or through like, you know, voice chat or whatever, on whatever platform you're playing on, and you're like, okay, I need someone to put this person in their place, and you call it the bully hunters, who come in and go in and presumably they kill the person, but that's the point of the game, is to like get kills and to like kill people. So it's just like I don't see how that's like, I've killed you and I'm gonna say a message
Well,
back.
they would kill you over and over again, so maybe you learn your lesson.
It would be like a repetitive thing?
Yeah.
Well, that's just harassment in turn, which goes back to fire with fire, kind of, you know, that doesn't really work, I don't think. I don't think it's like a healthy way to get back or to solve like the issue at hand. So I just don't see how that helps in any kind of way.
And actually, there is a study done that shows when people are doing worse in a video game, they're more likely to harass somebody in game.
It's
out of frustration.
So like,
it's rage.
Yeah. But hey, maybe the bully hunter is sending a nice text message being like, don't harass people, get the job done.
I don't know. Correct me if I'm wrong, but this was supposed to be specifically targeted to like women.
For females, yes.
Yeah. So it's like the bully hunters were like a group of female gamers that were like, so the big like, I guess win was supposed to be like, oh, there's a male in this game that's harassing a female player, whether it's because of the way that she's playing or the fact that she's a female, who knows. She says, hey, I'm being harassed, and so then this female like whoops that player's ass, and that's supposed to be like super, demasculating and like, oh, I got beat by a girl, and I feel like that just completely destroys the conversation about females playing games. It does nothing to help. It just furthers the stereotypes. And like, why?
There's something condescending about like, if you're a woman, you need to go get somebody better than you to like.
You need a better
save
woman.
The day.
I'm like, why don't you just like kill him yourself?
To quote Tyler Wheatley, "Don't be a scrub, get good." Do I sound like Tyler? I feel.
Sure.
You sound like something.
You need a beanie and a penny board.
And crippling depression.
So, you have that, huh?
Yeah. So I get the concept. I really do.
Yeah.
I think it's a decent concept. Because there's an insane amount of people who get harassed online, specifically women. Like, if you're a woman and you're trying to play video games, especially if you are using voice chat or something, you're in for a rough time. And so like a really cool concept. But I do, once you like actually think about it, I'm kind of with you. You're harassing another person.
Just,
and
it's not solving the issue.
I also don't see some like sexist 12-year-old after getting like shot a couple times being like, women are people. Like,
that's not gonna solve. It's just gonna make him angrier.
Yeah, he's gonna be like, women, they stick together. Like, I hate them. Mumble. I haven't had puberty yet.
Stupid girl just beat me. I'm mad.
Mom, this girl won't leave me alone on Xbox. But I don't know. I don't think it's gonna help it anything. But beyond that, when they started, they promised they were going to stream some of their events, and when that started happening, it got even worse because one of the big people who was behind it was a streamer named Natty Casanova, aka Zombie Unicorn. She has a pretty big following and she's fairly popular, but people pulled it back, and it turns out in the past she got caught saying some pretty homophobic stuff, specifically while she was streaming in game. She threw out some slurs, she said some things that aren't so cool, and so people were like, hypocrites. So do you think that when you have somebody in a movement that isn't exactly a good person, or I'm not saying she's a bad person, but she said some rough things, do you think that invalidates a movement?
I don't think it invalidates a movement at all. I don't think, I certainly will never defend what she said, but I do, in the research I did in preparation for Pop Tabs, she did talk about... That's this show. She did talk about how, she had apologized, even before the Bully Hunters movie. It's not like this came out and she was like, oh, I gotta cover my tracks. But so she seems to regret it. But even I think that's not, doesn't invalidate the movement, but it does raise questions like, why do you choose this person as your spokesperson? Do a little bit better of a background check so this kind of thing doesn't happen. But so I think it's their fault for choosing someone like that who had done something like that in the past to come out and be their voice. Because the rest of the organization is pretty quiet, and they remain anonymous, right? To keep the movement, it's like a shadow group of women who go out and defend.
Shadow group sounds way cooler than it is.
It's not.
The Bully Hunter.
I do like the image that they use on their website or whatever, where it's
it looks murdery.
Yeah, it looks kind of dark. But yes, I think it's their fault for choosing a poor spokesperson, but I don't think that invalidates the movement in any way.
Yeah.
So.
I mean, I don't know. I agree that I don't think it necessarily invalidates the movement, that maybe she's not the best choice. And again, I won't defend anything she said, but it's I've played video games with these two gentlemen right here, and sometimes things get said. In moments of fiery passion, when things die, and...
Michael beats us a lot, and I cuss him out frequently.
Yes.
Frequently. With a W. Frequently.
Yeah, so, I mean, throwing around homophobic slurs, not the best idea,
we don't do that.
But, I've heard you drop a couple cuss words before while playing, so it's not the most, oh my gosh, she did this to like be spiteful of someone. It's like sometimes things just slip out of your mouth after you get killed in a video game.
Yeah, and I get that, and I do. I think, because like I've said some pretty rough things. I don't go to the point of slurs, but
I'll agree with that.
But I think the problem that runs into is a lot of people point out when you use that casually, that's probably indicative that you use that non-casually. Because like I don't think when we play video games, I don't call you guys things I want.
That's not a knee-jerk reaction.
Yeah, I don't call you things that I wouldn't call you any other time because you're both just awful people.
That's true.
Yeah, I know.
But
I don't know why you hang out with them.
I don't either. But I also kind of think there's this issue that I do think it validates the movement a bit, because I think we see a lot of times that people who are spokespeople, they, whether you want them to or not, fully represent this and their lives represent that. I'm gonna bring up Lena Dunham again.
Okay.
Lena Dunham is the worst for any movement she's a part of. She's hurt the feminism movement so many times.
I can't deal.
She's the one who was like, I wish I had an abortion.
No, honey.
And
no.
she also said that literally one time by some basketball player not hitting on her, that because she was wearing a tux, that he saw her as inhuman, and like called him homophobic just because he wasn't like hitting on her. It was like, she's awful. Lena Dunham's terrible. And a lot of people literally like, I don't want to be a feminist because people like Lena Dunham are outspoken feminists and that's what they picture.
Yeah.
And so I think you really can ruin a movement with a spokesperson.
Gotcha.
They're taking pictures of us. I'm just gonna stare at them. Okay.
But I don't know. I really do think they probably should have been more careful. But it doesn't matter because the bully hunters are kind of dead.
Yep.
After their first stream and after all this controversy, they kind of died out. They were like, okay, not the right movement. But do you think by all this controversy they caused that they kind of did their job? Because Zombie Unicorn sure did. She was like, well, people are still talking about it, so we achieved our goal.
No, I don't think. If your goal was to try to end harassment in video games, also they just targeted like one specific video game, and I know like you can't be well versed in like every single, battle.
Yes, you can. Get good. Don't be a scrub.
If you don't have a life, then sure. But I don't know. Like, this did nothing, I think, to end harassment. Yeah, maybe people are talking about it, but again, the people who are already going to be harassing women in video games, this just fuels their fire. This is like, see, this is why we need to yell at them, because then they do stupid things like this. Like, now their enemy has gotten bigger, and so they feel the need to be louder. That is not going to solve the issue whatsoever.
Mm-hmm. That's fair.
I think from her perspective, when she said her that quote that you read, she was talking about, well, it's promoted conversation, and if that was their goal, well, you've certainly started conversation. But from my understanding, just from reading like what they seemed to be about, it was about trying to, maybe not end harassment, but so it feels like the goal wasn't exactly reached. It feels like they're like, all right, well, something happened of it, so we're gonna. That was our intention the whole time, So
this is what we wanted.
Yeah, it's rolling with the punches is what it seems like to me, and not so much like we've accomplished what we came here to do, and now it's what it is. So I don't agree with that.
Yeah, I kind of think I'm with you guys that like they created conversation, but I don't think most of the conversation was about harassment. I think most of it was like, aren't these guys kind of dumb? Should we really like put any faith in them? Like, did they really do anything?
Yeah.
But that being said, because the conversation they wanted us to have, do you think that this, done well, could be useful? Do you think harassment online is something that has to be dealt with in a way like this?
No. No. All you're going to do, like I said, is you're just going to fuel a fire, and the people who have that mindset, like, this is not going to change that mindset. It's just going to solidify it. It's just going to be like, I am right in everything I do, because then this is, what I get in return. And it's only going to make their voices louder. I think, and this sucks, and I hate saying it as a woman, but the best way for dealing with harassment in video games is just to ignore it. Because odds are, They're looking for some sort of reaction from you.
Yeah.
They want you to call these bully hunters and try to take them out in this game. Like they want that. And so if all of a sudden you're like, all right, I'm muting you, and then I'm going to kill you anyway, like that I feel is...
That mute button's super useful.
It really
At that
is.
point, it's just like, I'm just focusing on the game. And if you make it about the game and not about the person playing it, I feel like that's more of a statement instead
fair.
of like,
Yeah.
I'm gonna call in my friends to kill you for me. Like I
It's like the
can't.
classic, like, I'm gonna get my older brother to like come
It
beat you
really
up.
is. And it's like, I feel even though this is a group of women trying to stand up for women in video games, I feel like it's kind of demoralizing.
It's like you need someone's help.
Yeah, the woman playing the video game herself can't defend herself, and if I was in that situation, I would have been like, nah, bitch,
And
I'm
let's get the facts straight.
taking
Sarah
this out.
kills me all the time in video games.
That's true.
It's true.
No, I agree. The mute button is a wonderful tool, and clearly I am not a woman, but harassment.
What?
Yeah, I know. Harassment is a thing that will always exist, no matter what form of media that you're being involved in. So whether it's online, in like a forum or like some kind of, or like any kind of like video chat or like video games or whatever else it may be, like there will be people who will be jerks because humanity isn't perfect and people are not perfect and people can be very cruel, and that can happen to like any group. If it's women, probably target more than others.
Yeah, I
clearly.
agree.
But it happens to any level of person, and like in my experience with online games, I agree. Like making it about the game rather than about the person, not giving them the satisfaction of like responding to whatever they're saying, because I think anyone who spent time gaming online has received something hateful or something that is just cruel, or like
I've said it before on here. Every time I play Friday the 13th, a bunch of 12-year-olds tell me I suck. They're right, but it doesn't mean it doesn't hurt.
Yeah, no, and so making it about
Mute.
the game and hitting the mute button. Anytime I play Halo, if I see someone with a mic plugged in, I go through, I hit the mute button, and let's go down the list. They really should have made a mute all for Halo Reach. But anyway, it's a great feature that should be in every game ever. But so making it about the game and not about the people, don't give them the satisfaction.
I think the way to is truly beat them at their own game is the way to to get a
don't play
message
it.
across
Yeah.
is like it's harassing because it's you're a girl and I'm better than you in so many ways, and it's like, well, what if I'm better than you?
And
that's
get
like
better.
it's seriously just beat them at their own game, and that's they'll
fair.
shut up.
I agree with both of you. I think that like harassment's disgusting, but like I don't think this is the way to fix it. I'm kind of with you guys. It's just maybe mute it. Maybe mute it. But what are your thoughts on this or anything else we talked about today?
I'm tired.
Yeah.
Video games are fun. I enjoy playing them, especially with these two goobers over here. And Matt is fun to play Halo Reach with because we're pretty evenly matched, and he just goes out guns blazing, and I just like snipe him from miles away, and it's great.
I can't use long range weapons. Michael.
And I'm not allowed to play with them because
He's too good.
He's so good. It's annoying.
Oh my gosh, it's so hard.
you guys are making leaps and bounds of progress, though. They're gonna beat me
Thanks.
at my own game one day.
There we
Hey.
go. More of the story. So this has been Pop Tabs, and this is actually the last Pop Tabs we're going to do for a bit. We're going to go on a bit of a hiatus because this is a college thing, so we won't be back till August. But thank you guys so much for watching. I've really loved doing it. I've loved being your host. Thank you to all my beautiful guests, all of them, not just these two. Less these two than anyone. Thank you to Phil for always being a great editor, and all my editors. I love you all so much. Thanks for watching. Goodbye.
Okay now? Is there... No
Do you
wrestling?
see this like John Mulaney over here? It's like
So nice to see you two.
This is an
They've
on
always
fire
got that-
garbage can.
they've always got that fun
be
mom
in there.
energy.
Fun mom energy.